They pay just a tiny fraction.
As I say, this is open discussion.
No,
let me
but
ask
this
you
is
about.
big.
Let me.
This is
I just want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
This is so unprecedented.
He's going to pack the court.
We have.
I'm not going to give a list.
You realize if you're both speaking at the same time.
And it's too
Folks, do you have any idea what this clown's doing?
Wait a minute, Joe. Let me shut you down for a second because it's a political.
I want to move on to another subject.
got to respond.
But those states are not doing well that are shut down right now.
What the hell was that?
If you watched the debate last night, you probably left disappointed.
But I thought the debate last night was an embarrassment at every level for every person on the stage.
Let's be perfectly clear about this. I told you it was going to be Chewbacca versus the Swedish chef. And that's exactly what it was. It was just Joe Biden being, and Donald Trump going,
90 minutes of yammering and screaming and heckling.
Joe Biden performed very poorly last night. He did. Joe Biden said many, many things last night that are morally objectionable, that are outright false. He said things that were literally not true, over and over and over.
Joe Biden said things that were shameful, downright shameful, to say to the president of the United States. Called him a clown, yelled at him to shut up.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen.
Biden behaved despicably. He lied almost every time he opened his mouth. Chris Wallace was an insult. His questions were slanted and verbose, and he interrupted Trump every time Trump made a good point. It was shameful. If anyone out and out lost the debate, it was Wallace.
Where the F was Chris Wallace? Chris Wallace last night was not only there to fact check what Trump was saying and badger Trump, he was also there to shield Joe Biden from any serious question.
Chris Wallace constantly ran interference for Joe Biden, bailed him out of a lot of tight spots, and was downright rude to President Trump.
And Chris Wallace did not fact check Joe Biden. He was there to badger Donald Trump. He was there to interrupt Trump.
Gentlemen, I have to interject here because the president just landed a brutal blow on Joe Biden. So we cannot, Mr. Biden, don't answer that. I'll step in. You obviously can't step in, but I'll step in. I'm Chris Wallace, the moderator. Yeah, he's just trying to moderate all of the attacks. He's trying to temper all of the attacks that Trump landed on Joe Biden.
Last night was a blown opportunity. If you want to see Trump win, he needed to come out and he needed to allow Joe Biden to say dumb things, and then he needed to pick it apart. I know a lot of people who debate. I myself debate a lot. And when you debate people, one of the things you need to do is let them make their argument specifically so you can debunk it.
It's when he talks that Biden does really poorly. So by not letting him talk, Trump, I thought, made a strategic error. There's some people saying, well, his strategy was to get Biden to denounce the left, and he did that, and so maybe he estranged the left. Maybe he's playing three-dimensional chess. But I just think you have to take into account what people saw, and what people saw was just chaos. It was absolute chaos, and that hurts Trump.
Joe Biden also said a thing that was not only irredeemably stupid, but also morally benighted. And everybody is just pretending it doesn't mean anything. In fact, Megyn Kelly is trending for pointing out that it does mean something. So Joe Biden was asked specifically about Antifa. And he says, Antifa, they're really not an organization. They're more of just like an idea. Okay, no, they are called by the FBI an ideology or a movement. An idea is something that has no practical real-world ramifications unless it is taken down and made into an ideology or a movement. But here's Biden just pretending that Antifa doesn't exist. And what was amazing about the framing of a lot of the law and order discussion last night, it was all about the right-wing violence that's happening in our major cities. Weird, because it seems like the violence in our major cities, as Trump himself pointed out, we'll see this, is coming from the left wing. But here is Joe Biden refusing to condemn Antifa last night.
Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia. That's what his FBI director said.
Well, then you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
When a bat hits you over the head, that's not an idea.
Everybody in
Antifa
your
is
administration
bad.
tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas.
Antifa is a dangerous,
all right,
radical
gentlemen,
group.
we're now moving on to the Trump and Biden records.
Hey, Biden defending Antifa there is a low point. It is a bad move. It is a bad political move, and it is a bad moral move. Antifa is a violent group of thugs. They've been going around, many of them have criminal records. They've been burning things. They've been hijacking peaceful protests. And even members of BLM will tell you this. They've been going around and setting things on fire, occupying swaths of city areas, attacking cops. And Joe Biden won't condemn them because they're just an idea, not an organization.
Antifa is an idea that happens to be running around in masks, burning cities and covering them in graffiti and terrifying people and terrorizing people at their dinners. Antifa and Black Lives Matter. So that's the kind of idea they are. They're an idea that happens to be have avatars that manifest themselves as human beings who terrorize and destroy cities.
Antifa's an idea, not an organization. Antifa may be an idea. But it's an idea that has gotten into people's heads, and those people wear uniforms, and they wave a flag, and they march and organize together. That is an organization.
Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there's systemic injustice in this country, in education and work and in law enforcement and the way in which it's enforced.
That is just astonishing. There's every system in this country is laced through with racial injustice. Every system. How is that not the chief issue? I don't understand. I mean, this would have been the opportunity for Trump to jump in, would it not? And say every system in America is racist. Every one. We abolished legalized racism in the 1960s. That doesn't mean that we've abolished all racism from the human heart, because that exists literally everywhere at every time throughout human history. But the very basic idea that America's institutions are rooted in racism, that the justice system today is systemically racist. It's designed to keep down black people. The economic system is designed to keep down black people. These are talking points from the neo-Marxist left. How exactly was Joe Biden allowed to get away with that? Where was the follow-up question there? Why wouldn't Chris Wallace say, okay, and your plans to fix these systemically racist systems are to? Because he doesn't have a plan. It's just to use this as a baton.
The big anti-Trump moment was when Wallace, who sucked, he really did suck, asked for absolutely no reason whether Trump would condemn white supremacists who have had virtually no role in the violence convulsing the country. They've had none. The Proud Boys, which will be mentioned, they had a meeting in Portland. Like 10 guys showed up. So they have no role in the riots, the mostly peaceful riots that have torn this country apart. But for some reason, every 20 minutes, Trump has to denounce white supremacy.
And if Democrats are reluctant to condemn Antifa, as Biden clearly was there, we can be sure that they will never and have never whispered a single word of criticism, however mild, towards Black Lives Matter, a radical, racist, Marxist, extremist group which seeks to destroy the nuclear family, get rid of the police, among other stated goals, and whose leaders openly encourage looting and violence. No group in recent history has damaged this country physically and in every other sense to the same degree as BLM. 3 years after the fact, the media still hasn't gotten over Trump's very fine people phrasing, which they are willfully misinterpreting. For months, though, Democrats have been telling us that there are very fine people among the rioters, looters, and murderers in the BLM Antifa mob. Indeed, listening to them tell it, they're all fine people fighting for truth and justice by burning down their local convenience store and beating random pedestrians half to death. They are the ones who should be issuing condemnations. But they will never be forced to condemn, nor asked why they are not condemning. That's the advantage of having nearly all of the mainstream media on your side.
This is what America deserves. H.L. Mencken said that democracy is the idea that the people know what they want and deserve to get it good and hard. We're getting it good and hard, gang.